Okay, we've been doing a series that I was guided to do from Love Without End. This is by Glenda Green. So we're referencing some of the things that are written in here. And if you do not know who she is, because I understand that I just assume you do. Many people do not. She's an artist who painted the picture of Jesus as he appeared to her over, I think, a period of a year or longer. And so she would have conversations with him. And so this is what they would talk about. So it's a fascinating book if anybody's read it. You can, if you pick it up to read it, you go, yeah, because it's so rich with spiritual understanding and truth. So it is Love Without End. All right, so we've been working on that, and I hope you've been enjoying. We worked on healing guilt, healing greed. Okay, so now we're healing hate. Ready? All right. I want to start out with just reading a few little things. I do have my glasses today. Bless you. All right. She is talking, and Glenda is talking to Jesus. She says, some people say hate is the opposite of love. I recently read a book that suggested fear is the opposite. What do you say? And it says, Jesus said to her, I thought you would have realized by now that love has no opposites. Love is the solvent which ends all polarity. And polarities are the two ends of any extreme on any thought or condition. Polarities. He also said, fear abounds in the absence of love. Love is the solvent which ends all polarities. In the absence of love, fear abounds. And hatred is fear of love itself. Pretty powerful, right? Okay. Then he says, love your enemies. She'd ask him a question. That was his answer. She says, that's not the answer I'd hoped for. Love my enemies. In the presence of your enemies, you will know certainty that you are able to love because you are not loving them because of external factors. When you love your enemies, you're not loving them because they're kind to you, they're supportive of you, or you can get something from them. You are loving them because they are. So that is the test for us, the idea of loving those that we do not particularly love. All right, 71. Life does have its conditions. Nature has its conditions. For example, winter is necessary that spring may bring forth new life. Man also has established many conditions within society. Some are wise and others are not. Most of these conditions need to be relaxed. But the fact still remains there will always be some condition to life. For example, you may enjoy giving a man $20 to help him out, yet feel a certain reluctance about giving him the keys to your house. If you loved him enough, you could give him the world. Nevertheless, there is an inevitable point where you encounter external resistance and feel personal resentment. At that moment, you are facing the conditions of the life. The bottom line in this is, we walk around thinking unconditional love equals unconditional giving. And he is saying unconditional love is not unconditional giving. Unconditional love is unconditional being. There's a big difference. Do you see how when you fall in love and you love this or you love that, you want to give it all you've got? And then many of us find ourselves empty in the process. Unconditional giving is not what we're required to do because there are conditions in life. We have this world where we have things we've agreed to participate with. Unconditional being, love, is our goal. Very simple, right? He's talking to her. What you learn to recognize, Glenda, is my love. My love feels like no one else's. Love is an energy with your signature on it. Feel it. Your mother's love feels like no one else's, and so it is. Each person's love feels like no one else's. So the Spirit responds and honors each one's love as a unique imprint. It is that love that defines your individuality, not your spirit. The vibration of love that you are is unique. Only love has a capacity for singularity and individuality. The vibration of who you are, how you are, what you are, has its own signature to it. Being that blesses everyone, right? Instead of giving, being that. Because if you are that, do you not naturally give? You are emitting a vibration, you're blessing the whole, you're naturally giving, but not giving to conditions. So, you bless the world. Why do we fall into that space of what we will call hate? So let's walk through it, okay? Okay. We give love. Let's talk about relationships, because they're the easiest. How many have fallen in love with someone only to dislike them later? And how many have even gone to the point of almost hating them later, in moments? Okay. We give love freely because we think we're supposed to give. Let's just start right there. We think we're supposed to give. We give our love freely, and then we realize, wait a minute, I'm not being loved the way I want to be loved. I'm loving you, but you're not loving me the way I want to be loved. I give with the intention to receive. Do you hear? I don't receive. I'm feeling judged. I want to love you. You're not loving me back. Now I'm upset. I'm not receiving. And now I tend to move toward hating you for not loving me in return. So my love has no recipient now. I want to love you. You won't love me back the way I want to. So I'm blocking. Now I'm going to block my love to you. There's no one to love. And this wanting to love backs up in our heart. And that, for me, many times when I'm doing healing work with people, backed up love creates hate when it has no place to go. I wanted to love you, but not working. So I become blocked, but I am looking at love as giving, am I not? And if I look at love as giving, where is my power? It's with whoever I wanted to love me in return. All hatred comes when we have given our power to another. All hatred comes when we've given our power to another. I give my love, and when I give my love, because I'm in this world of condition, I also give my power and authority. Isn't that part of what's expected of me? I'm going to love you. I'm going to give you power over me. I'm going to give you authority over me. Yes, of course. And then I view my expectations as your promises to me. Let me say that again. All the expectations I have of you as I give my love to you, I hear you, I view it as your promise to me, when you did not say that. You did not promise me anything. But I heard you promise me that in my head because I wanted to. So my expectations of you become your promises to me. Do you realize how you do that? And you flip it? Okay. Then you withhold. You're withholding your promise to me. You promised me. I didn't, but you did. But I really didn't. But now you're withholding. So you're withholding, and I'm back into the block again. When you withhold, I hate you, my love is blocked, you have my power, and I hate you still. Got it? Okay. Now I'm talking about hate in a lover relationship because we can handle that better. But we'll go a little deeper. This is what Spirit said. When you hate any thought, belief, or idea, it has power over you. And most of the time, when we get right down to it, anything that we do hate, it's a thought, a belief, or an idea. It's really not the person. It's the belief, the thought, idea they hold. It's what the group holds. It's who they are. So this is what we really hate. Not so much the person, but the belief they hold. So then Spirit said, what do you hate and who do you hate? Most people, I won't say us, we all got our toe in it at some point. We all have to heal this at some level. But a lot of times we are taught via whatever cultural background we came through. We're taught to dislike people who are different than us, dislike cultural differences, dislike economic differences, and mainly, boy, are we to dislike political differences. Holy moly. And if you do not have an opinion about politics, you are an ostrich with your head in the sand. Number one ostrich here. Yeah. Because you should have an opinion and you need to dislike somebody. Well, you just got to do that. Okay? And the increasing polarity of dislike becomes hate. Because we've stopped looking at people and we've started looking at ideas that we're invested now against. And where is our power? In that idea. We're investing in that idea. We're standing against it. Anything we resist persists, and we give power too. So here's the other kicker that we don't realize. We've given them our power, but we also define ourselves by that. Because we define ourselves by, where is my power? And if my power is so stuck in making a space where people are not like me accepted, then I'm identifying myself as someone who hates. I'm identifying myself as someone who does not include. I'm identifying myself as someone who has the power to dislike you. Is that really where you want to identify yourself? Because that's what you're doing. When you stand in any position that negates the life of another, you are identifying yourself as someone who has power over that. And is that really who you are? I know you guys say, oh, I don't hate. I'm not afraid of love. Jesus said hate's afraid of love. I'm not afraid of love, really. I think we all are afraid because we're conditioned to the giving. We're not conditioned to the being. Okay. So, page 83, we're moving on to something much more lovely. So Jesus is saying this. He's trying to explain how to get out of conflict. A storm that is being loved is not inclined to cause destruction. You know, when the storms are coming and they're roaring and they're ripping and they're loud, and metaphysically we are taught to recognize the storm, honor the storm. It's a product of something. It has a mission to do something. Ask that it do its mission in a way that is harmonious and hurts or harms no man. That's our request, right? And we pray, we love it, we honor it. We don't want to squish it. We don't say, We try to see the value in the storm. So Jesus says, the storm that is loved is not inclined to cause destruction. Even if a man waits until he's desperate before adding the love, it's better than not adding love at all. Of course, that's like baking cookies without sugar and then sprinkling some on top when you're finished. You'll like the results better if you use the sugar in the recipe. If we can use the love before the storm begins in our lives, we can dissipate the harm that would be caused. Love your enemies. Love your enemies. Why are you against me? Why are you against me? Why are you against me? Why don't you like me? There are people that don't like me. Can you believe it? I couldn't believe it. What is not to like? Seriously. I'm honest, I'm frank, I'm abrasive sometimes, but it's okay. I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Look at the comments on some of the services. Hogwash, other things that are stronger, and I won't repeat them. But why are you against me? Anyone who makes those comments, anyone that says anything, does not like me personally because I'm unlike them. I'm not like you. And in our world, we have used this need to give love, and we've defined love as being accepted, acceptable, safe. If I am in love and you love me, I'm accepted, right? If I'm in a group and you love me and I love you, I'm accepted and I am safe. So we've got this love thing wrapped around our survival, our acceptance, and our safety. If you're not in my group, you scare me. And if you scare me, I might be in trouble. And I've shared with you guys many times, a gentleman visited us maybe 20 years ago. It was here in this building. He was very kind, sweet guy. Ended up coming for about a year. He was dating one of our girls. seriously said to me as he walked out the door, he said, Cindy, I'm serious. I was afraid that lightning was going to strike me as I sat there in your auditorium. Yeah. Because the belief had been so seared in him and his faith that to go outside of his faith was a abomination to his soul. And I said, well, see, you're safe. And he goes, oh, yeah, I'm safe. You're safe. No lightning. We don't do lightning here. You're safe. And he came for a year. Enjoyed it, took classes, did metaphysics. He enjoyed it. But what did he have to break through? And he was a kind-hearted man, so he didn't go to hate yet. But what is the energy behind the teachings that took him to that space? It's a fear of love, because if you love everybody, you're open to everybody, and you might consider doing your life differently. And if you are not part of my group, I can't control you. I can't guarantee you're going to act a certain way or be a certain way or blah, 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 blah. So this has been used against us. The need for us to be accepted and to find a place of safety has been used historically to control. And when someone is controlling you, where's your power? They have it. Okay, that's kind of a sideline, but I hope it's helpful. Thought light? Okay. When you are not in my group, do you know how many people visit this church and we never see them again? A lot. Do you know how many people visit this church and we see them 10 years later? Quite a few. Because they like knowing they can come and go. People love knowing they can come and go and you're not mad at them. They love that. That gives them freedom to choose. That lets them have their power in their heart. Okay? So, if you're not in my group, the typical trap that we fall into is, I'm afraid to love you because you're not like me. It's easier to hate you so I can stay safe in who I am. It's easier to hate you. I've been telling my classes recently, not only the United States, the global energy. No, let me only speak to what I know. I will only speak to what I know. What I have witnessed in my local area of the news and everything in the United States. What brings us together is catastrophes. And so I've been talking to my classes, do we really want a cataclysmic catastrophe for us to find love? Or can we just find love in a moment? Just in a tiny little moment of time, find love, you know? I have one story I want to share, and I don't know why, but I want to share this story with you. Spirit asked me to. So I know it's going to mean something to someone. It was 2005, and one of our members used to go to Brazil to get a healing work done by a man in Abidjan. And she said to Patrick, you guys should come with us. And he went, we'll go. And I went, oh, okay, we're going to Brazil? He goes, we're going to Brazil. So we went to Brazil. And it's this tiny little town. And the only people that are really there are just a very few locals, a couple hundred maybe. And this healing center, which is love offering and whatever. So we were there, and, I could feel the spirits working on the other side. I could feel the energy of good intentions and stuff. And it was a Friday, and these buses pulled up. And I said to a girl that had been there before, what is that? And she said, every Friday they bring in the poor people for healing. So the buses pulled up and all these poor people got out and they came to get a healing. And I don't know why or what, but the place had kind of cleared out of the regular people that were there. And there's this platform that was open-ended on one end, and it had about this many seats in it, if not more. And on the back wall was a board where you could put people's names for prayer. And I was just feeling Cindy. I was just feeling like, I don't know who I am. I'm trying so hard, God. I really am. And it's 2005. I'd been a minister for how many years? 1990. 15, 20 years at that point. And I was like, gosh, what's going to happen? Talk to me. And I went to the board and I put all four of our children's names up there. Brian and Lynn, they had been a couple since they were kids, and Noel and David. And I just wanted their names to be there. It was a place of protection and prayer for your people. So I put them up there. And everything just hit me, and I just started to cry. And I just stood there all alone on this stage, crying. And I turned, and this little woman, little poor woman that had gotten off the bus that spoke Portuguese came to me, and she just grabbed me like your best friend or your mom would, and she just held me. And I just sobbed into her shoulder. And she held me, and she might say a couple of words in Portuguese, and I'm just sobbing. But her heart and her arms told me, I know what you're feeling. I know that you love God. I know what you're feeling. And then she walked me down, and we sat down together, and she held me for another 15 minutes while I sobbed, just sobbed. And no one else was there. Patrick came walking by. But it was a moment where who she was and who I was as love came together, and she could just accept, I can't help you, but I can hold you. I can hold you in love. And we couldn't even speak the same language. And I finally got it together. And I just thanked her. And she patted me and said, okay. She patted me like, that's okay. And then she went back to her people, and I hobbled back to where we were going. But I was actually having a spiritual crisis. I was in a moment of complete meltdown. And that love came to me from someone who I would never meet on the street, wouldn't even recognize. And there she was. I will never forget her, and I will never forget her touch, her energy, who she was, her uniqueness as she held me. And she held me with such unconditional love of just being. Do you guys hear? We will all find that space in a catastrophe, won't we? But why do we have to create that? Why can't we just be open to loving one another in that space where it's relevant just to be there, to be light, not to have to give, just to be. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. That was a beautiful moment for me. In that moment, hate doesn't exist. Fear doesn't exist. And we can travel around and we can go to other countries, and you see people, and even if there's hostility toward you, it's like, oh, they just don't know me. They just don't know me. I'm good. They'll find out. We don't resist. We just send love. We see them. They're living an idea we don't particularly align with, but that's okay. They're still God's child. We don't have to hate because of differences of choices. We don't have to separate because differences of choices. Because love is that energy of allness. We do not want to be, I know we don't want to be the ones known as the one who hates. We want to be the ones known as the one who loves. The one who is not the giver of unconditional love, but the beer of unconditional love. The beer. All right. When I define myself by anything outside of myself, I've lost my power. If I define myself by what is going on in my heart, I have my power. All right. Anything that you feel any resistance to has your power. You realize that, right? Anything you have resistance to has your power. So Jesus said, love does not attack love. Releasing all hatred and fear comes through forgiveness. And who do you forgive? When I have consciously given you my power to tell me whether I'm good or not, to tell me whether I'm worthy of love or not, if I've consciously given you my power, who do I have to forgive? Do I have to forgive you? I have to forgive myself. I have to forgive myself for that. Forgive myself for letting myself go into a less than loving situation. And then get my power back. Get my power back. I am so sorry. I forgive myself for asking you to whatever. So I forgive myself, and now let me have my power back from what I've asked you to hold for me. I asked you to take authority over me or whatever. I want my power back. Every couple does this. I think every couple needs to take your power back every 6 months. Because you do it all the time. We do it all the time. Can't help it. It's how we're trained. Okay? So pulling our power back so that we can, again, autonomously choose to be with that person, to choose to love that person, to share love with that person. You know? Getting our power back. All right. Last thing we're reading. So she says to Jesus, they're talking about love. She says to Jesus, what should I love first? And Jesus says, whatever's in front of you. What should I do first? Whatever's facing you. Who do I help now? The next person you talk to. What do I learn next? The solutions to your problems, that's what you learn. The solutions to your problems. You don't have to seek your lessons. They will find you. Love is a source of life that has no end, and your name is love. Our name is love. We are love. We are God. We are love. When we are not feeling it, our power is outside of self. And we can immediately do our meditation to get our power back. Forgive ourselves and get our power back. Should we do that right now? All right, let's go within. So let's breathe. Father, Mother God, I ask that what we now do be for the highest healing of all concerned. I would invite each of you to just imagine or create in your mind's eye a beautiful calm of light that comes over you. And again, feel the safety in the light. Notice the color. Is it vibrating? Is it a thicker resonance? Is it thin? Is it light? And I want you to feel the love of Jesus Christ as he enters your column of light now. And feel him take your hand, and we're going to begin to go into the heart center. Imagine, visualize, image in a path that you and Jesus begin to walk, going into your heart. We're going into that sacred space, that sacred grove, that sacred garden of your heart. And as you walk into the garden, just feel yourself safe. And I want you to ask a question. Who have I given my power to? Who holds the power that I need to choose my life? Is it an idea, a person? What is blocking me from being love? Who holds the power? Allow and accept whatever comes. Do not edit it, for you do not understand the origin. Accept whatever comes. I now forgive myself for not believing I was strong enough. I forgive myself for whatever has entangled me to this situation or person. I know I am God's child. Thank the person, the idea, the situation for being your teacher. Put out your hand and call forth your power. I now call forth the power that I have asked you to hold for me, and I receive it back into myself. Thank you. Bring it back in. Breathe. And let this situation just go to the light, the person, the thought, whatever it might be. Let it go. And now we're going to broad brush. I want you to just ask, is there any hate in this heart? You may or may not see anything, but just ask. If there is any hate in my heart, I want it to come forward. any energy. And if you see or sense any, again, you don't even need to know what it is about. Forgive yourself for having it. I pull my power back from it. And if I'm not strong enough to take this power back, I give it to the Christ. I give it to Jesus to hold for me. And I lift the energy out of my body. I let it go. I'm not playing anymore. I let it go. Now stand in the heart center and be love for a moment. Just radiate your beautiful signature frequency. I am love. I am radiant. My beautiful signature frequency. And life is good. Feel the joy. Let it move through your body. Feel Jesus take you by the hand. Let's gently come back down that path. Coming back. Heart is centered. Heart is good. You're coming back. Back until you can feel yourself sitting in your column of light. Father, Mother God, we thank you for this healing within each heart. And we thank you that we can now be the light I am. Breathe and let yourself feel your physical body. Feel the chair that holds you. For your love for Jesus Christ and the Christ within your heart. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. How we do? Good. Tissue felt? Okay. Well, I hope you felt some energy movement. This is something you can always do on your own. Do it anytime. Now, every week I've been giving you homework. We've given up our guilt. Have we done well on that one? We've looked at our excesses, the greed excess. So, be love. I want you to try practicing just sitting and radiating love instead of what you would think somebody would want from you. You know, just try being that love for a moment. And see how it feels to even get familiar with your own signature, your own vibration. Life on planet Earth is great, is it not? Yes. Yay, God.